guys, 224 back with another reaction video. And this time I'm going to react into a top 5 video actually, yeah. Man, it's been a while since I reacted to a top 5 video. So I was like, why not react to a top video? Because it's been a while since I reacted to a top video. So yeah, let's get a crack at it and let's see one of the most recent top videos. So I went on to Top 5's channel, and one of the most recent ones was the 5 smartest and most dangerous hackers of all time. So I was like, ooh, this one is really interesting, because for me, as a computer science major myself, this is the kind of stuff I'm eventually going to dwell upon. So, yeah, with this, I can eventually see myself not being hacked in the future, hopefully. Crap, I probably might have jinxed it for myself, but in any case, because I have been hacked in the past, and other stuff like my FIFA account and my freaking Twitter, but that was back in the past. But in any case, enough about hacking and all that jazz. Let's move on to the video. Yeah, so 3, 2, 1, and now. Top 5s. Alright.
We live in an age where technology moves at a rapid pace,
Yeah, it
and modern
does.
society relies on this technology to simply exist.
Yeah, definitely.
Imagine a world without this advancement.
That is
Society
so
as we
true.
know it
It's
would
always
be on
been
the
a lot
verge
of what ifs
collapse.
about that.
Hospitals, transportation, banks and government
Ah!
would not be able to cope if there was a substantial attack on computer systems. Luckily, experts are employed to counter such threats, and whilst an attack of this degree has never been successful, the threat still remains. So who are the people who would want to bring about such chaos, and why would they attempt to do so?
Who would they?
Here are
Why?
just 5 of the cleverest and scariest hackers to have ever lived.
Yeah, sometimes hackers can be dicks.
Kevin Mitnick. As a young teenager, the hacker known as the Condor discovered a way of cheating a punch card system that would allow him to use the Los Angeles bus system for free.
What?
He claimed he was working on a school project and found out how to obtain unused tickets. Only a few years later, he managed to access the computer system of the Digital Equipment Corporation and copied their software. He was eventually charged and convicted of this crime 9 years later in 1988.
Damn, that sucks.
After spending a year
So
in
he
prison,
eventually got caught.
Mitnick began to hack into the systems of a number of large corporations, including IBM, Nokia, and Motorola.
Oh shit.
He would copy valuable proprietary software and accessed mail accounts. He was arrested in 1995 and pleaded guilty to wire fraud, computer fraud, and illegally intercepting a wire communication as part of a plea bargain, which saw him being sentenced to 5 years in prison.
5 years.
Whilst in prison, he was kept in solitary confinement for 8 months for fear he could use a landline to hack into government computers.
Shit.
After his release in 2000, he claimed in a book that he had never actually hacked into computer systems, but had used social engineering to obtain passwords. Mitnick is now a successful author and security consultant.
That is really bizarre. That's number
Michael
5?
Kelsey. The hacker known as Mafia Boy first developed an interest in computers at the age of 6. At 9 years old, after obtaining a free AOL trial, he managed to hack the system, which then allowed him free access beyond the 30-day trial period.
Oh, shit.
By the time he was 15, Michael had succeeded in pulling off such an incredible act that
What'd he do?
cybercrime laws were drawn up as a direct result of his actions,
Oh, yeah.
with the authorities
Eventually.
shocked that a boy of his age could have carried out such a hack. The teenager from Quebec, Canada, had got more involved in online hacker groups, and in 2000 began his attack that made him famous.
What attack was
He started to take over a number of university networks simultaneously. He created a situation where all the networks were responding at the same time, resulting in it being overwhelmed.
So DOS.
Within hours, using the same methods, he targeted the networks of Yahoo, then the largest online search engine, Amazon, CNN, Dell, E-Trade, and eBay.
Shit!
All of these sites were paralyzed by Michael's actions.
By just
The FBI
and he
eventually
did
caught
all
up
that
with him,
shit?
and in September 2001, he was sentenced to 8 months in youth custody. Today, Michael works as a white hat, someone who identifies security flaws in networks, and has also written a number of articles on the subject.
Fuck. Alright, who's number 3?
Steve and Steve.
Steve and Steve?
It's hard to believe that 2 of the most pioneering people in the world of technology began their careers as hackers. Not exactly the scariest hackers the world has seen, but they deserve a mention due to their future fame.
Oh, okay.
In the late 1960s, a man called Steve was studying at the University of Colorado. but was expelled from there for hacking into the university computer system.
Of course.
After meeting with a friend in
This
1971,
also was named
both
Steve.
became known as phone freaks. Phone freaks were hackers who illegally broke into telephone network systems
Oh wait, I think I've heard
and
of
would
this
use this
before
knowledge
actually.
to
The
make
phone
long-distance
freaks.
phone calls for free or tap phone lines. Together they created a device known as a blue box that would be used to emulate telephone signals, which tricked automated telephone exchanges into thinking it was receiving genuine information. Once inside the network, calls could be made, yet would be untraceable. It's alleged that Steve used such a device to impersonate the respected US politician, Henry Kissinger, and he called the Vatican and asked to speak to the Pope. Realizing the commercial value of such a device, the pair started selling them illegally. After nearly being caught by the
gotta make a-
police, the
gotta
two
make a
decided to
finance
give up their
somehow.
criminal ways and founded a company that is synonymous with the world of technology. The company was Apple, and the pair were Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs.
Are you serious? Those two? I didn't think it was those.
Matthew Bevan.
Man, I am
Matthew
so not
Bevan
in
is a
history
Welsh
with this
hacker
technology.
who went by the handle of Coogee. In 1996, at the age of 21, he was arrested after hacking into US government networks, initially into the Griffiths Air Force Base Research Laboratory in New York, then later into USAF, NASA, and NATO. Bevan claimed that he was researching information on providing a UFO conspiracy theory. He used a simple Commodore Amiga computer, along with a program called Roxbox,
Seriously?
that simulated
That
tones
was it?
sent out by a telephone operator's dialing console. US Special Agent Jim Christie had stated that Bevan's actions had the potential to have started a Third World War. Bevan, as well
What?
as his alleged accomplice Richard Price, had transferred information from the Korean Atomic Research Institute to the USAF
crap.
system. Had North Korea spotted this, they may well have thought that they were under a cyber attack, and may have
Oh,
retaliated with a physical
shit.
response. However, the data belonged to South Korea, and was therefore less sensitive.
Okay.
Despite a
good.
number of investigations before his arrest in 1996, at his trial 18 months later, the British Crown Prosecution Service decided that it would no longer pursue the case, resulting in Matthew being fully acquitted of any wrongdoing.
Good for him.
He now runs his own website.
Jeez. Alright, who's better than all of them?
Jonathan James. In
What did
September
he do?
2000, Jonathan James of Miami, Florida, became the first minor to be convicted of a cybercrime. Aged just 16, James, who operated under the name Comrade, was found guilty of juvenile delinquency, as his age prevented any law drawn up
What
being
exactly
applied
did
to his
he
crime.
do?
His sentence of 6 months of house arrest seems today to be lenient, especially when we consider what he had done.
What did he do?
At the
Get
age of
to
15,
that point!
the US Department of Defense discovered that James had hacked into schools and a number of private companies, alongside government agencies, including NASA,
Oh,
despite stealing software and
shit.
information from NASA valued at over $1.5 million. James had yet to implement his greatest intrusion.
What?
In the late summer of 1999,
What was it?
he gained access to the Department of Defense systems, which monitored and analyzed threats to the United States.
Oh, crap.
A series of attacks on government systems in 2007 led the US Secret Service to suspect that James was behind them. It later turned out to be the work of a hacker named Albert Gonzalez. The incident proved to be a turning point in the young life of Comrade, who feared his reputation made him the guilty party.
Yeah, I can
In May
see that.
2008, James was found dead from a single gunshot wound. A suicide note was found, stating he believed he was to be convicted of cybercrimes he had not committed.
That sucks.
So that's 5 of the internet's scariest hackers. I hope you've enjoyed,
Yeah.
and don't forget to follow Top 5s on Instagram to keep up to date with new adventures and travels.
Yeah, I can.
Thanks
I'll
for
totally
watching.
do that.
And I'll see you in the next video.
Holy crap. So, I can. No, what did I expect from that? I expected this kind of shit to be dangerous for what they did, but to my first point, for number 3, Steve, I had no idea it was Steve Jobs, and I can't say his last name, but shit, that just blew my mind. It was those two. And I had a feeling it was probably Steve Jobs. I was like, why do I feel like this is gonna be Steve Jobs? It was like, but once he mentioned Apple, I was like, oh, it's that Steve. Like, I just want to let you all know, I have not seen the film. I have not seen Steve Jobs films at all, so I'm just keep that in mind. And I don't know much about Apple because I'm not an Apple person, and I don't know dwell on the whole history. But I'm not that huge into to the whole Apple products, so I mean I know a little history of a little bit of technology, but I don't know the whole history of some stuff like was Apple and stuff. I just know about Steve Jobs. He's the creator of iPhone and the founder of Apple. That's all I really know about it. That's all I really know about Apple. I'm just putting it out there right now. But jeez. I was just surprised that was number 3, and that guy named James. Oh fuck, dude. And he did that all at when he was just, they said 16. My God. The kind of hackers we can have, it can do the most dangerous shit. No, but I am a bit surprised by number 5 and 4. Like they basically did cyber crimes and all that jazz. Eventually they moved on with their life and basically made a career out of it, which was kind of funny though. They had their own website, their own book, and did all other stuff. And I was like, yeah, at least they made a career out of it, so good for them, good for them. It just kind of sucks they had to get arrested and charged with that kind of shit. Like the first guy, I don't blame him for doing. Like the first guy, I don't blame him. He's managed to get on the bus for free, so I could see him doing that. But eventually he get in trouble for it, so it sucks for that. And the fourth guy is just like he managed to get past his 30-day trials, and so he wouldn't have to pay for it. It's like, yeah, I could see that. Eventually, he had to get in trouble for that shit too. So it sucks for him. But then there was a number 2, which was kind of surprising. He almost started World War III. I mean, yeah, I said number 2, right? I already forgot his name. God damn it! He almost started World War fucking 3. And most people were saying it's about to happen eventually. Was the current things going on was and I'm not going into that. But he almost started World War III from that shit. Are you serious? Was Korea? Thankfully, it was South Korea. But jeez, and he was number 2. I was like, after that, who could have possibly been number 1 after that? And it was James. I was like, okay, I could see why he was number 1 at that point. But I honestly think number 2 should have probably been number 1. But number 1, I could see why he got the spot. It kind of sucks he committed suicide from that shit because he thought he'd be blamed for stuff he didn't commit. Ah man, this kind of sucks with the whole shit with suicide. But another thing, I would not go into that because because of Logan Paul. So just saying, I'm not going into that at the moment. But suicide is a very serious thing. But man, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think this is like mind-blowing with the kind of shit that hackers have done in the past? Well, these hackers have done in their past. And do you hope, hackers like these can actually do more benefit of the doubt later in the future? Not those asshole hacking groups, that would just hack you just for shits and giggles and DDoS attacks on, gaming services and hack Twitter accounts and all that jazz. But not like those guys. But let me know what I'm talking about the hackers that would try to hack for the greater good. Basically, those guys. Now, let me know in the comment section what you think about this and any other videos I should react to in the future. So let me know in the comment section down below. And like this video if you like this reaction video, and subscribe to my channel for more reaction videos besides other stuff other than just reaction videos, because I do more than just reaction videos on my channel. So getting that off my chest, for those who are watching, thank you for watching. Man, it is such a repeat thing I have to do for almost every reaction video. But in case, like I was going into, thank you for watching, and until next time, 224Bic is out.